Everybody say hi to Sensitive Joy. Pew, 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 pew.
It's Babe.
It's Babe.
Hello, babe.
It's Babe in real time.
Babe.
And it's a
Hello.
joy.
Hello.
So I'm very quickly, y'all in my chat who don't know who Sensitive Joy is, she's a streamer I've been following since early on in my own personal streaming journey. And I'm about to put a little follow button right on the screen for y'all. It's called a dynamic follow button. And so I hope it's there. It looks like it's there. Is it cut off or anything?
It says Allo.
Allo, great.
It says Allo Sensitive Joy.
That's always the best when you have to move it over.
I'm just so happy to see everyone in the chat right now. Oh my gosh.
I know, aren't they I can't believe how many people are like, hi, Joy.
Oh my gosh. Hello, my friends. I'm so happy to see all of you. And Erin, thank you for having me. I'm so happy to see you. I feel like we never get time together.
No,
So this
never.
is like our time together.
I agree. Never have I ever actually had time to sit and talk with you. It's always in a game, you know? It's always in a game.
That's
What's
fine.
wrong? Oh, it moved way too far. Oh, the dynamic button just did me dirty. Is that better?
That's fine.
Okay, that's better. We're good now. So y'all can see I was moving around that dynamic button. It's fine. Everything is fine. So Sensitive Joy is somebody I've been following on Twitch since before you rebranded to Sensitive Joy. I don't know if you
Oh my gosh,
even know that. I followed you. I think so. It all happened. Basically, beta is a gateway drug. Erasa beta is a gateway drug. And she's like, you have to follow Wreck-It Raven. And out of the same mouthful of people came Joy SMR. And is that how you said it?
Yes, it was Joy SMR. Yeah.
That's what I thought, right? Okay. Because you were doing ASMR. That was your plan, was to do ASMR stuff, I believe. But we'll get to that. And then out of that same mouthful came Hylash and Zombunny and just so many beautiful, beautiful humans that I'm so grateful to now know. And so I've been following you for quite a long time, actually. And I was like, how am I going to talk to you in real time without a game? Like, I'm just going to sit here.
I know, it's bizarre. It's bizarre. And also, like, I feel like I don't know how to really talk to people anymore. So it's good practice for me.
Live practice right here on
Live
Twitch.
practice.
So for those of you who don't know who Sensitive Joy is, Joy, please take a second to kind of give an overview, whatever you want to say about your channel, whatever you want to say about your content creation. Please give us like a peek into what, streaming looks like for you.
Okay, so streaming for me right now is a little bit different than when I started. When I started, I was taking a mystery lit and film class, and it was early COVID days, and I'm friends with Hylash off of Twitch, and Hylash started streaming and introduced me to Twitch, honestly. And so Hylash had been streaming for a month or two, and I was like, this is actually a great opportunity because I love reading. I am taking this mystery class that I'm excited about, and so I decided to start reading mystery novels and like Edgar Allan Poe and like creepy poems on my stream. And so that's what my stream was in the early days. It was like black backdrop, really dark makeup. I would read my poems and stuff by candlelight. It was really dramatic.
Oh my God, I want it back. I want it back.
Well, I will do it again. I want to make it like a community challenge to bring back those streams.
Yes.
And so then people were like, wow, we really like your voice. We could just listen to you read forever. I was like, okay, maybe I'll do this longer than the month of October. I had only planned to do it for the month of October in 2020. And people were interested enough that I decided to keep going. But then I realized people were really gatekeepy about the ASMR community. Like, people would come into the stream and be like, how is this ASMR? Like, just because you have a nice voice, it's not ASMR. It's like, okay, well, fine. I'm not going to be an ASMR labeled streamer anymore. And I think the first video game I played, I was just so nervous to even play a game on stream. It felt so foreign to me.
Yeah.
But then I just kind of got into gaming, and then from gaming, I went to doing some charity streaming, and now I focus almost entirely on charity streams and just chatting streams because that seemed to be where most of the interest was in the community. I am in school right now to eventually become a therapist. So talking mental health and talking about just like real world stuff is kind of my bread and butter. So that's what I focus on now. And I still try and throw in some horror because horror is my first love. So we do a little bit of horror, a lot of chatting. It's really silly, definitely not appropriate sometimes, but it's great.
As
I
if
love
we're
it.
ever appropriate here, ever.
True.
I'm only
babe.
appropriate when I have to be for something specific. Otherwise, we're inappropriate. No, I love that. And so like the just chatting parts, and here's the thing about my little Acco Taco About It segments. Here's why I started doing them. And it's because I wanted to get to know the streamers who inspire me. And
I love
and so don't cry. And so one of the things that inspired me the most is I now do this isn't a thing that music streamers do. I now do a whole just chatting segment at the beginning of every stream, and that is in big part due to you. Because I watched you connect with your audience in a way that like like once you're gaming or singing or whatever it is that you think the bulk of the content of your stream is going to be, it is hard to continue engaging. It's not easy to connect with the people in your chat when they're like, hey, I had a bad day and you're giving me great vibes. It's like, oh, that's great. And then you have to move on. But having that opportunity, sometimes it even goes for like an hour for me. Which is a long time to just chat as a music streamer. Speaking of just chatting, did you change the category? Because I forgot.
No, because I thought you were.
I forgot to do it. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Listen, I can only get one dynamic follow button or one category change at a time. It's only
babe. Come on,
babe. I know, babe.
Job right now, babe.
Babe, I'm so sorry. Did you see that we made a babe counter for today?
You literally made my day. I saw the babe counter and I was like, I can't.
It was actually Fenwa's idea. And I was like, yes.
Fen. Oh my God.
And so one of those things that inspired me, like I was saying, is that you just sat there and like connected with people. And of course I've seen gamers do that, but you specifically started to grow like as like a streamer, and like your audience, you started to grow. And I think it was because you were just connecting, like dead ass sitting there talking to people. And it started to get so crazy that you're like, I gotta slow mode this shit. Like people just want to sit there and talk to you. And I was like, wow, this is this. I need to aspire to do that. And I think because I watched you do that, you were setting such a good example for me personally that I have, when I complain about myself talking now, people are like, it's fine. We want to talk to you.
I think we're always like, we're so used to feeling like we need to like, I think provide entertainment or provide something of value. I think a lot of times we devalue ourselves, and that the value is kind of inherent to like who we are as people, and people are really drawn to us. Like I know that there could be so many talented musicians out there, but they could be DICKs. Sorry.
Just say it.
They could be total buttheads. And you don't want to listen to their stuff anymore. It's like, you're talented, but you suck as a person. So I'm not going to watch you. But you are an amazing human being, and you are so kind and so giving, and you have so much to offer that I feel like giving more of yourself is like such a gift to us, because I know that people really want to know you. And like, even if you're not talking about you, they want to know what you think about things.
Babe.
What's the DICK?
I'm not sure.
Know.
I don't think either of us have done that, so I'm not sure if either of us know the answer to that.
I can't answer that.
That's fantastic, babe. All the babes. And I'm so glad. And like you mentioned, charity streaming too. That's something I do literally once a month. I have to like. There is absolutely like charity streaming burnout. That I have dealt with so many times, and I had to start really, really concentrating on boundaries. That's one of the topics I have to talk to you about today is boundaries. Yes. But yeah, that was one of those things, since you mentioned charity streaming, is that's something else that brought us together also because of the underworld. Which I'm so grateful for that, and that whole community surrounding Wreck-It Raven and Highlash. And so I absolutely love that. And it sometimes it's just really, really crazy though. As much as you want to do charity streams, you're like, okay, I need to kind of save some spoons, because it's like, if you don't have enough spoons going into a charity stream, it's all over, because you've probably decided you're going to do crazy, dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Or
in my case, like I decide, I'll do PowerPoints for every person that donates $50, and then 7-8 people donate $50, and I'm like, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So we make these promises that we're like, okay, we don't really expect that too many people will donate X amount of money, or we come up with these incentives that excite us, but then we have to fulfill them because we can't really drive too much of our own money into raising money for charities.
Yes.
So we have to come up with like free and or cost accessible ways to be charity streamers. So it's like, it takes a lot out of you, because there's always more of a commitment after you do the charity stream of like everything you still have to do after the stream.
Yeah. And that's something, like, I love that you mentioned it right off the bat, because it was like kind of a gateway for me. It's like, I didn't understand charity streams at first until I saw people, and like I was like, why would somebody do a charity stream? Like, just because I couldn't figure out, like, I don't understand. When you're new to Twitch, it's like, why, especially as a musician, when you're used to playing gigs for tips, like, why would you do a charity stream? And then I was like watching how generous people are on Twitch, and I'm like, oh my God, this is like the most chaotic good thing I've ever seen. Oh yeah, I'll totally eat a tarantula if we hit that goal, said Beta. Who now has to eat a tarantula.
I can't wait to watch that, by the way.
I don't know when that's happening. I think their goal is to do it in June. I think Bunny and Lash are going to go do it with her, I think. I don't know.
Amazing.
Oh, August. Okay. I wasn't sure. We're going to do a ghost hunt in August as well.
And I need to ghost hunt with you.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. That, I think, so Trish and I were trying to pinpoint, like, when we, the collective we, like, started to really, like, fall in love with you as a person, and just, like, your personality and your presence, on Twitch. And we believe, do you want to say it? I was like waiting for you to, like,
you say yours and I'll say if mine matches.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's the same moment. And it's why, if anybody caught it, if it's why I put Cher's song Believe in the story.
It's the same moment.
I shared Cher's song Believes Believe in the story when I shared the promo, because we were probably watching Raven, and I don't know who else was in the game. All I remember is that it was you and Raven in Phasmo with 2 other people. And just randomly, you're just in the background like, no matter how hard I try. And then, like, the conversation would continue. Couple seconds go, Raven's talking. You're not streaming. You're just literally singing.
Do that. And there's no turning back.
That is very, very, very on brand. That is
literally the moment we fell in love with you, and I'm like, I love this human. But the best thing was that I don't think that I knew who you were at the time. No. I'm just like, who is this human? I need to know. I need a face. Who is this beautiful human just singing Cher to absolutely no one in the background? I love her and I want to be her.
And nobody was paying attention to you either.
Love that. I love that. And I remember that I first got connected with the 2 of you in a Raven stream while I was playing with Raven. But that time of life was like so chaotic in the best way. Like, Raven would just play horror games on their stream, and they would need someone to play, and I'd be like, just count me in whenever you need me, no big deal. And it got to a point that I was playing so much with Raven that I would just kind of space out into the background. And so there'd be times where there are so many clips of me just singing or talking to myself, like just not thinking that anyone is listening. So I'm so glad that y'all appreciate my singing, because that is one of my favorite things to do when I am alone.
And clearly on stream, but not on your stream.
I get to make a fool of myself on other people's streams.
But also in the same line, like, your influence, I played Devour exactly 1 time.
Oh my God.
No, I've played it twice.
And
everybody became Janice because you were yelling at the ghost and calling her Janice. I don't even know her real name.
No, it was Molly.
It was Molly.
Molly,
yours like Janice.
Molly.
And so now every time I've played the few times I've played Devour, it's Janice. I'm playing Dead by Daylight. It's fucking Janice. Seriously,
literally, she just yells at Janice randomly,
That's
and I'm
just
like,
the name I yell when I'm irritated.
so this isn't on my list of questions, but why Janice?
When you think, I'm sorry, have you met a Janice that you enjoy? Has anyone met a Janice that they enjoy?
My aunt's name is Janice, and she's kind of a dick, so that
yes,
it
nobody meets
fits.
a Janice that they enjoy. Nobody. And I'm sorry, but like, I feel that way in the same way that I feel like every flight attendant's name is Lynn. Like, there's just certain names, like they just are always a certain way. And Janice is just a no-go for me.
It's funny because the only flight attendant I know, her name is fucking Lynn. You can't even make this up. The only flight attendant I know personally it's somebody's mother I grew up with. Her name is Lynn. You can't even make this up. Oh my God.
Like, I was on the flight to Boston and on the flight back, and both directions there was a Lynn. And I was like, honestly, I could have predicted that. Like, it just makes too much sense.
Oh,
I'm crying.
Oh my God. Anyway, my mother's name is Janice, and I was going to ask Joy to meet her.
Sorry.
Oh. That's an oh.
His mother's name is not Janice. He's lying.
Oh, okay.
He's lying.
What's funny is my mother's name is actually Joyce. And so I don't know.
Your mom said that.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know if she said that in the chat, but I don't know many Joyces, but Twitch has brought 2 separate Joyces into my life. But yeah, when I was telling my mom earlier, we were talking about something and she was like, "Oh yeah, I'll be there." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm only doing music a couple hours today, and then I'm going to talk to my friend Joy." And I was like, "Well, that felt really weird to say to like my mother, who is Joyce." Yeah, it was very strange.
Oh my God.
But so anyway, I digress. We just
so
digressed
many people
for like
think
25
that's
minutes.
my name. Like, I will say my name is Joy, and people will still call me Joyce.
Really?
I think they're just not used to people being named Joy.
Interesting.
Yeah, I get Joyce a lot.
I get that with Patricia instead of Trish or Trisha. They just assume that it's Patricia, and it's like, no.
Yeah, Brenda's too. There's a lot of boomer names that have a bad rap. Honestly, it's kind of how Karen happened. You know.
Yeah.
There's unfortunate, and it's unfortunate for the good ones. I know good Karens too. You know, it's unfortunate. Oh yeah, Jen gets called Jan all the time.
I say my name really strangely. The cadence of how I say my name, it almost sounds like, this is really embarrassing, but when I slow it down, it kind of sounds like Joey. So when I introduce myself to people, they think I'm saying my name is Julie or a fancy Joey. And it's really embarrassing because I didn't realize I had an accent until I've introduced myself to people. It just comes out.
I don't think you have, like, I'm obviously not going to talk about your location in any way unless you do. But I don't think you have a particular, to be honest, like, and I know I'm open about, like, I'm in Michigan. I know that I have a little bit of a a little bit of a Midwestern Michigander accent. But I don't particularly I hear a really nice, like, warm, almost, I don't know. I don't know. I can't really pinpoint what I would say your accent is.
So I'm from the DC area. That's where I live now. But my family is from Southern Virginia and Alabama and Florida. So all of my family is kind of sprinkled in the South. And so when I get really going, I tend to get like a little on the sassy Southern side. But it doesn't really come out that often unless I'm around fellow Southerners. And then it's like really out. Like, you put me near my business partner who is from like foothills of Appalachia, and she brings out the Southern woman in me. It is just bad. And then my husband will be like, who what happened? Like, I'll come home from hanging out with her and I'm a whole different woman. Like,
Also, I was going to say MFR. I was literally about to say that because we both say y'all like nobody's business, and we're both in regions of the U.S. that don't say y'all. I'm not Southern at all. I have literally been born and raised in Michigan, and then sometimes y'all just happened. So I use y'all. Your little y'all. Is it the teacup one that says y'all on it? Which emote?
Oh, there is one that says y'all, and I don't even remember. That's how little I use my own emotes.
I love your emotes too. It's also the Comfy Witch, right? Your emotes?
Yeah, Comfy Witch. Mm-hmm.
The Comfy Witch is an absolute gem of a human. I love your emotes. They're so cute.
Thank you.
Sassy
Y'all
Southern.
is a part of my permanent like lexicon of just like words I will use. It's never gonna die.
It's like when I think I started watching you not mostly, but I think when I really started watching your separate channel, you were mid Dark Souls. I don't know which one. You would know. But every time you would die, you just deadpan camera. Y'all. Y'all.
It would be so embarrassing to die again. It just felt like, y'all kidding me. Like, how? How does this keep happening?
In that particular game, you got stuck in a couple spots and just the repeated y'all. You just try again, die. Try. I wouldn't have done any better, by the way. I say y'all's. I say y'all's is kind of in a totally campy way because it's, it's not a word.
Y'all's, I like y'all's.
Yeah.
I like it.
So one of the biggest reasons, obviously, I feel like I have like a trillion reasons as to why I wanted to chat with you.
Oh my gosh, I love you.
We love you, babe.
So much.
Babe. It's just over and over again. So since you entered Twitch and the streaming space, and I'll also include content creation for you, since you've entered that space and it's become a bigger part of your life, how has it affected you positively, mentally?
I think I have. So I feel like I need to separate it between like mental positives and also like almost like educational positives that feel almost mentally related. I don't really know how to word that well.
I don't care.
But
Let's dig in. I don't care.
From a mental health standpoint, I feel like, as we all know, there are pros and cons, but I just got really dizzy. The pros are definitely that I feel like I am allowed to feel without having to worry about protecting people from my feelings, if that makes sense.
It does, totally.
Sorry, give me 1 second. I just got dizzy.
Oh, no, you're fine. You literally, as we're about to talk about like mental health, no, you do you. If anything is happening.
I like, just, woo. Yeah, that was weird. It was like a weird head spin moment.
Strange.
So mostly just that I feel like I am allowed to feel and I am allowed to not feel bad about feeling. I think that finding people who are so fiercely protective of one another's wellness, that's new for me.
Same.
Because a lot of people don't know, but I started doing quote unquote influencer work in 2013 before the term was around.
Yeah.
It was just, and even content creator hadn't really like been used yet. It wasn't until 2014 that people started saying content creator. And I remember because that was the year that everyone made fun of the term. Everyone thought that it was the worst. People just rolled their eyes at content creators, which they still do. And I started an Instagram project, a hashtag project that blew up really fast. And I started working with brands almost immediately, and they would pay me to work with them. And so this was 2014-ish. And then did that for a couple years. I ended up quitting influencer work because around 2018, I just had my son, and I felt like I didn't like attributing my value to my popularity.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I left. I was like, I don't agree with the sentiment that I should be pushing myself to be popular to make a certain amount of money, because that's really where your value comes from to these marketers and these advertisers. So I left that, and then here I am back in that. But that started in 2020 doing the Twitch streaming, and I never planned to go that route again of content creation. But this is so much more gratifying in that you get to actually like live stream and have like communication with people one-on-one that isn't behind a keyboard. It is for the people watching me, but I get to really talk to them in real time and like communicate in a way that feels authentic and honest. And we actually hold space together. And that's different than like Instagram or TikTok or even Twitter, because it's not reciprocal. But on Twitch, it's reciprocal. So it's call and respond. And that makes it feel like you can avoid a lot of the like downfalls that other social media can offer you, because a lot of times you're putting something out there and you're waiting for a response.
Yes,
On
absolutely.
Twitch, I can be here with someone in the moment and see the direct impact of my presence.
Yeah.
And that has been really good because I can show up like in and of my honest self and be with people, and I don't have to like pretend to be any other way. I could literally start screaming. I do that.
That too.
I could literally start streaming, crying, and people would still be like, we got you. We're here for you. We love you. That I think is one of the most powerful social media opportunities that you can have. So it's been really good in that way, and that I feel like I can show up as I am because I get to have this reciprocal relationship with people. We hold each other in that time when I am streaming. It feels so nice.
I love the visual. We hold each other. I like that visual.
We do. It's really great when like I feel like a lot of times on stream that I kind of have to be available, right?
Yeah.
In some capacity, whether it's emotionally, mentally, anything for people when I'm streaming, but sometimes they're available for me. It's sometimes the other way around. Like emotions will just get the best of me and I'll just be like, I'm sorry, I'm not where I should be right now. I'm feeling poorly. And then he'll be like, you know what, we got you. And then they'll be encouraging me and giving back to me. And it's a really wonderful, like on the spot, we're holding space for each other that just really can't happen in a lot of other places.
No, and a great example of that is today for me. I'm not gonna lie, and I didn't try to lie. It's one of those things where social media is thank you for your follow, Cabbage Farts. Plus one for the name. Plus one. Today was one of those days I woke up and felt like I could sleep forever. I'm feeling really emotionally hungover from this week. A lot's been going on, and I literally, there aren't many other social platforms that you can be that honest. You go to Instagram and you put some sort of sob story up, not saying that it is a sob story, but for lack of a better term, you go on Instagram and be honest, and you get hate comments that you're looking for attention, and it's like, wow, okay. And so Twitch is just it's literally much safer. If you have put the work into surrounding yourself, then you will attract the correct people as well. And you have done that very, very well. I find myself in a similar position. There's nobody in this community who, you know, if I was sitting here crying and having a terrible day, they would be like, why are you here? Play a song. Like they would all be like, oh my God, how can we help you? Like, give me your phone number. Do you want to talk? Like, and that's like, sorry. Oh, no, I was just going to say it is a beautiful thing. And that's me today. I know I'm not crying. I'm actually emotionally, I'm fine. It's physically, I'm just incredibly spoonless today. And and the irony was that you were also very, very busy today. And I was like, damn, I hope we're both going to be all right today. Because we're both running on, like, I feel like fumes, just all the things. And so, mental health is something that I don't, because I'm not a mental health professional, I typically will stay away from it on my channel because there is that liability factor. And it's very difficult to be like, I am not a professional. I can only speak to my experience, my mental health. But I will say it's very validating to hear you say back at me what I try to make sure I have distilled in myself, and Trish for that matter. Because that's a whole other topic. She's a part of the stream and never asked for this shit. Like she's, that's a whole topic. We could just sit here and do a whole Acco talk about it, just about that alone.
We should one day.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we absolutely should one day. That'd be great. As if we don't do that every day.
That's fair.
So do you feel, before I move on to the flip side of that, do you feel like there have been any other positives mental health wise when it comes to content creation and streaming?
I think the other side of that is that you almost start to feel so much more emboldened by your own identity when you get to carve a space out for yourself online that is 100% true to you. And the nice thing about Twitch is it almost feels like this little misfit social media where so many people are just there together observing, and a lot of people aren't even creating content. They're just looking for community. And it's nice that people can show up into a space, get an idea of what someone's all about within a lot of times the first couple minutes, and just hang out and stay a while. And seeing that sort of like domino effect of just more and more people being like, I feel safe to be myself. I feel safe in this community. And you see more and more and more people just sort of absorbing that and embracing that. I also feel even just more emboldened by my own identity when that sort of happens around me. I can't say, like, this is the first time in my life where, like, I feel so certain of who I am. And I know so much of that comes down to the fact that I met like-minded people. And it feels so accessible to find like-minded people on Twitch. Like, it feels so easy to do.
Yeah.
And I've never encountered that on Instagram or Twitter or anywhere else, because you have to cycle through so much. But I do think that Twitch makes it pretty easy to like find your niche.
Yeah.
Which is really nice.
I agree. There's a lot to say about finding that tribe and the authenticity of it. And I agree wholeheartedly with you. I feel exactly the same way. Because of this space, I finally feel the most me I've ever felt.
Yeah.
And I think there's only one bad part about that. And then when you are forced to compromise that again for whatever reason, and maybe it hasn't come up in a couple of years or something, now that I am in such a I don't know, it's just I'm in a very strong, I'm pretty hard-headed when it comes to who I am as a person. I don't like to compromise myself terribly often. Not that anybody does, but I'm much less willing than most people, I think, at this point. And so when I do have to, it is really painful, and I feel so awkward, and I don't know how to be, because it's like I forgot how to just be myself when I'm forced to not do that. And so I think a lot of that comes back to being in a house for 2 years. Like, we still don't.
That's huge.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people did a lot of soul searching for the past couple of years. And a lot of us are coming out the other side more confident in who we are. And that plus Twitch for me was definitely one of the biggest things pushing me toward authenticity. And you, babe.
And you.
Because anybody I saw doing that for themselves, it was so obvious that they were just comfortable and they just want to be themselves. And then, but it also pulled out the people who were, I'm going to use the word imposter, but not in the way the normal you hear imposter being used, because it really showed who I was paying attention to on stream who were imposters of themselves. They weren't being true to themselves, and you could absolutely see that. And I've seen a lot of those people like open up and kind of come to terms with authenticity, because this is the only platform that if you're not being authentic, the audience feels it, and it's awkward.
And it's in real time.
And it's in real time. And so nobody, thinks about the fact that even if you want to come here and be like, hey guys, how's your day? Like, and if like for me today, I couldn't do it. I'm like, if somebody requests something that's like over 70 BPM, I'm going to cry because I don't want to play it.
It's not there. I'm not there.
I'm not emotionally there today. It's like, and that's why I was like, guys, I'm real sorry, but the queue is closed today and we're going to do literally sad girl music. We played sad girl music the whole day, the whole 2 hours.
I love that. And I think that just really is like a testament that like people just want to be together. People want the community aspect more than anything else. They want to feel supported, and they want to witness you doing what feels most honest and truthful for you. Because when you do things that are congruent with like how you feel and who you are, it's like I feel like everyone benefits, because you don't really build up that resentment of like, oh, well, I have to do this for them, or I have to do this for them. And it's like, what about what I need to do for me? And what I need to do for me today is play that sad girl music. Because that's where I'm at.
Yeah, and a lot of the people in the chat, Bunny is saying it was perfect. Like, a lot of people were like, this is kind of exactly what I needed today. And I don't know if you have felt this way this week, but the energy this week in general for a lot of people I know has been really draining. I feel like I
for sure.
cannot get enough sleep this week, no matter what I do.
Same.
And so I'm like, if I don't think I could stomach playing the Venga Boys today, guys. Sorry, I'm not doing it.
It's like, it's not, yeah. Oh my gosh, I could not imagine. No, in the mood I'm in today, if someone wanted me to play the Venga Boys, like, I'm sorry, I'm just turning it off.
Right.
I'm going.
The Venga bus is broken down. It's in the shop.
and so kind of this actually segues like perfectly. We didn't even mean to, but like trying to appease the audience is part of something that was really hurting my mental health. Before I learned that I didn't have to appease people, because it is hard. I think my specific situation is hard because I came from being an IRL musician with gigs where that's literally you're paid to appease people and play the music that they want to hear. I have really tried hard, y'all. I wish I had a Zoom button right now. Y'all, the deprogramming that I've had to attempt. And the times I've sat and cried with Trish about like, they actually like our music. Like, why couldn't these people in real life exist? But like mentally, that's one of the hardest parts is like, the mental health aspect that has hit me personally the most negative. And I'm not sure, we've never talked about the negative, mental effects that you have felt. For me, it was going back to what you were saying about influencing when you first started the quote influencer like journey, was that your I almost said your weight. Oh God, your worth.
That makes sense though. You're like your weight to like these people and like companies and even just your viewers. Yeah,
the literal weight, but the worth of myself. And this was as recently as 6 months ago. I'm talking about like I was doing a partner push in October. And my mental health was so bad by December that I stopped talking about being partner because my worth was when I hit the go live button and how many people showed up. And I was like, this is the most toxic situation I could have possibly put myself in. And without even realizing it. And so for me, that was honestly something, and now I don't have my numbers on. Well, ironically, I'm sitting here looking at my numbers, but not on purpose. It's just because I don't need my song list anymore, because I'm talking to you. But when I'm in, 98% of my streams, when I'm not chatting with somebody, I do not have my numbers on because mentally I was connecting my worth to the amount of people that would show up. And that in turn was translating to I'm never going to get partner. I'm never going to be worth it. And it took a lot of people telling me like, listen, this isn't worth your mental health at all. Thank you for your follow. Is it Carry On Comfort Studios? Welcome in. Thank you so much for your follow.
Hello.
And so my question to you is, have you dealt with similar struggles or were there any other negative mental health struggles you've dealt with because of streaming?
Oh my gosh. I know. So I had a big moment last year. It was around this time last year where I took a month off from streaming because I got hit with a lot of imposter syndrome. I got hit with a ton of imposter syndrome, and also I was afraid that I was growing too fast. Which sounds silly to say, but when you are such a feeler like me, like, and I know you're the same. You want everyone around you to have the same things and have the same opportunities. And it was also at a time when I feel like I was doing a lot of growth about my role in the content creation space and what my role just in the universe is as an individual. Like, who am I fighting for? Am I fighting for myself, or what are my actual interests? What do I care about? And so I went through this big like imposter syndrome window where like I was growing really fast for the first 6 months that I was streaming. And then I hit a wall where I was like, everything felt natural up until that point. And I just felt like, wait, am I supposed to have this? Am I supposed to do this? Am I supposed to be growing at this speed? Like, la da da da. I just completely talked myself out of all of it and took a month off streaming because I was really, really in my head about it, because people were coming to me and talking about it all the time. They were like, wow, at the rate you're growing, you're going to be partnered by summer. And like, wow, at the rate you're going, like, la la la. And it just like put a lot of ideas in my head that people expected things for me that I didn't really expect even of myself.
Yeah.
And so I really got in my head about it and took time off. And then when I came back, I don't think I ever really even, I don't think I ever fully embraced it. And it's been a year. I don't think I've fully embraced it since then. I struggle because I don't, and this is going to sound totally antithetical to being a content creator, but I don't think that this job is healthy for anyone.
Yeah.
And that's just me being honest.
I agree.
Like, I don't think that content creation is a healthy, and I say healthy, I hate that word, but I don't think it is a good profession to be in if mental wellness is what you care about.
Yeah.
And it takes an especially resilient individual to be unaffected. And so I think the hardest part was that I had to do a lot of like soul searching in terms of like, what are my actual goals? Is it content creation? Because it's really easy to start doing something and then let that become your thing.
Yeah.
And so I tend to do what I think people expect of me. And so it got to a point where people were like, when are you streaming next? What are you going to do? We should do this together. We should do that. And I really had to like put a hard stop of like, actually streaming as much as I am isn't serving me right now.
Yeah.
Actually, like streaming games that I really don't want to play isn't really serving me right now, because when I got down to like looking at it, what made me the happiest was like literally just sitting with people, like literally just hanging out with people on stream.
Yeah.
But I felt like for a long time, I kind of had to assimilate to what other people were doing.
Yeah.
I had to play the games people were playing because it gets views. I had to like play the indie games and all that stuff. Like I still get keys and like paid game offers all the time, and I turn them down because it just doesn't feel honest for me.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like something I'd enjoy. So at this point, like the biggest hurdle was like, one, why am I doing this? What do I actually enjoy doing? One, that's hanging out with people, and two, that's laughing with those people. So just cutting out all the bullshit that doesn't focus on those things.
Yeah.
And then two, just not giving a shit about like, the numbers are hard. They're hard not to pay attention to. They really are. But I don't really have a particular goal of becoming partner, so I think that helps.
Yeah.
But I know that like if someone does, they literally design it that way to fuck with you so that you keep going, so that you keep grinding. It's like, we're not going to give you anything when you get there, but you'll have a check mark and you'll look official.
Yeah.
But we want you to keep creating content for us, so that way we can keep making money. And I'm too much of a brat to do that. No, I'm too much of a brat.
I 100% agree with you. And going back to the people and how they perceive, and then when they also verbalize and say, oh man, at this rate, you're going to be partner by whatever. That, here's the thing about that is that I'm not mad at anybody if you've ever said that to me. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. But streamers do that. And it's like not okay. It crosses a boundary with mental health for me. And I was going to say, you probably agree. It's it crosses a boundary because it's very presumptuous that you know what my CCV is, first of all, because the perceived CCV is never what it actually is. And that stuff is stressful. And
it is.
And then even if you're working on deprogramming yourself to not incorporate those numbers into your worth, it puts you right back at square one. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how hard you've worked. How hard. It doesn't matter how hard you've worked to deprogram that. It puts you right back at square one, and you go, oh, well, I'm like, cool. I mean, like, not cool, but it's very, very stressful.
It lets you know the metric that people are expecting you to like align with.
Yeah.
Like it like people are already thinking about you hitting partner. It's already in their brains. So let's say it takes you much longer than they thought. It's like, it's easy for it to really get to your head that like, oh, these people expected me to hit partner forever ago.
Yeah.
They keep talking about it. But it's like, wait, honestly, like, but do I really care? Is that really what I want? Or is it the fact that people keep talking to me about it that it's like salient in my brain that I care about it at all?
Yeah. Like
it's really hard.
It is hard. It's a hard balance because I did really used to care about it. And it's not because like I thought it was more money or anything like that. I was always aware. I had enough relationships with partners to know that it wasn't really a money thing. It's just a validation. Here's your check mark. And so I did eventually come back to that, but I'm like, but I want it. It's the Capricorn in me saying, I am putting my fucking
totally
work. Like
I totally feel you.
I'm putting my damn work in, and fucking give me the check mark, because I've been doing this for XYZ. Because that's and unfortunately, if there's any other like musicians who IRL gig, like there is this veteran mentality where when you've been doing it for so long, like I deserve this. There is a certain entitlement, unfortunately. And as a musician who's been working professionally since 2010, it's really hard to be like not getting partnered when people have been streaming for like 6 months and then they get partnered.
Right.
It makes you again go back to your worth. Like, why did they, what did they have that I don't have? And the answer is nothing. And it's fucking chance and luck. And I think that's the hardest part for people to swallow. It was the hardest thing for me to swallow, is that yes, we can attract, like you've attracted this beautiful community. I've attracted a beautiful community. We have a lot of crossover, actually. A lot of the Underworld team members do. Yeah. And you just have to trust that what's coming is coming, and what's meant to be is what's meant to be. And that's the hardest part for any sign that has control issues. Me, Capricorn.
Same. I feel you.
I don't love that. I don't love that for me. I like to be in control of my career.
Yeah. Well, see, I try to think of it as like, if I had worked this hard at any other job. Yeah. If I had worked this hard at any other formal job, by now I would have said, okay, when is my promotion? Right. Like, let's talk about what that looks like, because I have put in the work. And they would likely be like, well, there are no promotions available. And if there are no promotions available, I would find a new job. Yeah. But like Twitch is different in that mentality of like, we'll find a new job. They know there are so few other places that you can turn to for this opportunity. So they don't care if you get mad and say, well, I deserve more. I deserve a promotion. You could do that at any other job. Yeah. Be like, well, I'm going to look for another job. Well, that mentality just doesn't translate here. It's like you're kind of stuck with the lackluster like payments and just treatment in general, which, you know, Twitch isn't terrible, but you know what I mean. Like, they know that you're stuck with the way things are, so things don't need to change. Yeah. And really at that point, it's like, it's us that has to adapt, which sucks. It really sucks.
And for the people who have been around on Twitch for, you know, 1 trillion years, they've been around for over a decade, I think now, when it was Justin TV. I forget what year they founded the website and started streaming on it. But if you've been around for that long, then you know the name of the game. But with all the pandemic baby streamers, it's just a different thing. I think we have been attempting to change the model of Twitch. And obviously I know like Lash, I think you said, had been streaming prior to the pandemic. Raven too. People like Beta, y'all have been doing this for years. And I'm just like hi, I'm gonna play music here on your platform. And so it's like it's just so tricky, because I'm sure so many thousands of people understand the assignment when it comes to Twitch, but then this whole generation of pandemic baby streamers, we don't get it. Because we turn to this to make money, to create an income, to create a career path that was just demolished. And so it's really hard mentally to wrap my own brain. I'm still trying to deprogram that, you know, that I come to the table to hang out with people who do tip me, and that is amazing. Like what kind of life is that? That's the most like privileged thing in the whole world. And here I am, like, give me my check mark. Like it really puts your life into perspective.
I totally agree. The mentality of just like, I just need to get it, or just like feeling like I just need to get it. Like once I get it, like I'm there, and then I don't need to have that in my head anymore. Yeah. Like it doesn't need to be this finish line or this like benchmark that I need to get to. Yes. That somehow validates me any more than where I currently am. Yeah. But one thing I try to always ask myself when I'm like going in these circles of like what I should do or how I'm feeling is like getting to like the like root of it all by just saying like, for what? Like repeatedly until I can't answer the question anymore. Like, for what?
Wow.
Like, okay, I want partner for what? And then, well, because I want to do this, for what? And then it's like, well, if I get to that point, then I can, for what? It's like, and then you just keep doing for what until you get to like the emotion at the base of it, the like honesty at the base of it. That's like, okay, well, all of this comes down to it feels validating, you know? I think that's like
wow. I
where we
love
get.
that. I am like totally speechless. You've just given me a tool that I'm going to use every day.
I know that the next time I have a panic attack, Erin's
No.
going to do that to me. But here's the thing,
No.
because it would I'm sitting here painting and listening, obviously, but that would work on me, I think.
Really?
Because I just let, me like fast forwarding through my thoughts in one
Right.
moment. I actually do think that might help me to think about it that
can
way.
be very, very helpful. In some of the calls that I did a crisis support volunteer job at the beginning of COVID,
Yeah.
where I would be on call from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m.
Jesus.
And I would answer the phone whenever a call came in. And sometimes somebody would actively be calling in the middle of panic, and they would be like, I'm panicking. Can you just do some breathing exercises with me? And so sometimes I would do like breathing exercises with people in the middle of just being completely activated. And then from there, it's like sometimes it wouldn't always work. So we would have to go through these like Jess said, like Highlash said, peeling back the layers. It's like, I would say, but how do you know that? Like there would be certain things that they say, but how do you know that? Or like for what? Or
Yeah.
why? Like if you just repeat the same almost like basic question over and over, you really force someone to like peel back the illusions of like what we tell ourselves in the moment. And there are obviously different questions to ask given what emotional state you're in. Like if you are in panic, something more gentle, like why or but how do you know that? Like might be better. But I know when I'm talking to myself and I'm telling myself these truths, it's always like, for what? Like for what?
I love that. It's kind of tough love. Like, okay, bitch, why are you upset? For what? Why? Is this worth it?
It's like, what is it really about?
Yeah. And that's huge for me. I think I say this, it's becoming more and more prevalent, and I've been saying it a lot lately because it helps me keep any like I don't like the word overreaction. A reaction is valid, but anything from like for me, I can overreact sometimes, and I do think it's an overreaction at the end of the day. But for me, it's the anger is just sadness's bodyguard. And that I don't know if it was a fucking meme. I don't know where I saw it, but I read it one day and I was like, this is profound, because why are you angry? And that's kind of exactly it. What are you angry at? And then the answer is, well, somebody hit my car. Okay, but like, are you angry about it because of the money or because of the inconvenience? And oh, I don't know. Like, no, I have the money, but I don't have the fucking time. Okay, but when can you make time? Okay, like in a week from now. Okay, like you're solving the problem, kind of thing.
Right.
And that helps me a lot, because why am I angry? I find myself getting angry at things a lot. Like we all do. Like we're gonna get angry sometimes, and so I'm like, okay, why? Why am I angry? And at the end of the day, it's always being upset or being sad. It's never because I'm actually angry.
Oh, 100%. 100%. There's always come down to like variables that you can't control.
Yes.
That stem from another emotion. And that's when the anger comes out. It's like I'm experiencing a base emotion and I can't control the variables that surround that emotion. So I am just angry now.
Yes.
I'm angry because I feel like I don't have control here, or I'm not being heard, or I'm not being any other thing.
Kev, like, no, you need a Snickers, Kev. We both need a Snickers. Honestly, sometimes.
I love Snickers so much.
So Wes Mix and I both are people who have the anger bodyguard, and we work very closely together. He's our manager and engineer of LC Banks. And so we've been very close for like a decade, and we keep each other in check. And this pandemic has really taught us a lot about how to keep each other in check and be more emotionally intelligent. So him coming in and saying that I need a Snickers, don't worry, I'm not offended. Nobody, I am offended.
I saw the VIP and I was like, okay, you get a pass.
Yeah. If EBX is in the name, basically that person is very close to us.
Yeah.
So yeah, me and Kev work very closely to yeah, the angry bodyguard or the anger bodyguard. It's either way. It doesn't really make a ton of sense unless you have the context. But I know, Kev. I know. I really do. I'm hungry though. I could use a Snickers.
I personally thought it was hilarious, so I loved the joke.
But the last thing I want to touch on, because obviously I want to be very. Oh, geez, the EBX Nugget account strikes again. There it is. Don't be like Greg. Eat a Snickers. Oh my goodness. I always need a Snickers. I always need a snack. But that's the product of being like borderline hypoglycemic. That's just a product of
I love them.
That. I really truly kind of want a Snickers now.
I love them. I know I said it several times. One of my friends at the last con and this one knew when they saw me to bring a Snickers. It's not even my favorite candy. It's
gosh.
It hits all the bases.
See, I love 100 Grand bars.
Oh, they're so good.
God, I love those. I know, right? I'm sorry, chat. This is terrible. Now we all want chocolate. I'm not going to apologize. They're very yummy.
I do want chocolate.
I do genuinely want chocolate now. And I have wine. I think we have, do we have some of those dark, thin Reese's cups still, or did you eat them all? She's looking at me like, ma'am, they're gone. They're long.
I ate those all like 6 days ago.
Dang it. Dang it, Kev. Look what you've done.
Those lasted all of 5 days in this house.
Dang. I had like 2.
I had like
Hi, Zooks.
Zooks, hello? Question mark. Hello. So before I cross too many time boundaries, because I know you canceled your own stream this morning because you had a lot of shit to get done. So I don't want to add to your stress. I am so grateful that you have been here with us today.
Golden.
You're
Me
great.
too.
So one of the questions I really wanted to ask you, because I truly don't know, is when did you know you wanted to go to school and really go through the process of becoming a therapist? And also thank you for your follow, Nye. Is it Nye? I'm not sure. I see you in all sorts of chats, but I don't know if it's Nye. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Thank you for your follow, though.
So I've always wanted to be a therapist, like ever since I was young.
Aww.
It's always just been what I wanted to do. But out of high school, I was very like much a baby anarchist when I was younger, and I disagreed with public schooling because I thought that they were for privileged individuals, that they were very inaccessible and all that stuff. I also didn't agree with banks. I was a huge brat. And so I just did not go right to school. And then eventually my mom was like, just, please go to school, take out loans like everyone else does, go. And I was like, well, if I'm going to school, I'm not taking out loans. So I'm going to save up money and go. So I went to community college shortly after deciding to go back to school. And then I ended up switching over to go to art school for interior design because that was a quicker degree too. It would have taken me 3 more years. I knew I wanted to be a therapist, but I didn't want to do 6 years of school.
Yeah.
Because I already didn't like the idea of having to go to school anyway. So I was like, if I'm going to go to school, I'm going to go to school for something much shorter. So I ended up going to school for interior design. Then I left the country at one point. I was in Belgium for a year.
Oh my God.
I worked a lot of different jobs when I came back to the States, and then obviously got married, had kids. But right before I had my second child, I remember telling my husband that, like, it's really going to bug me if I don't actually like do something with my life that I want to do. Like, naturally, we all hit that point where we're like, am I doing what feels right for me? So honestly, the decision to go back to school was something that I had been just like sitting on for years. And I'm a very, very impulsive person. I always have been. Do you follow human design at all?
I don't.
Do you know human design?
No.
Okay. So human design is like astrology on steroids. And if anyone likes astrology, then you would absolutely, absolutely love human design. And I encourage you to go look up your human design chart right now. So I actually help people like understand their charts at a very baseline level. And so in human design, I'm what's called a manifester, which means that you are someone who has a lot of ideas, you start a lot of fires, you inspire other people, but you are not the energy behind those movements. So you tend to be people that get people motivated to do stuff, but you are not the person who does the stuff. You're an ideas person. So with that, and you also, a big part of being a manifester is you rule with an authority that's very impulse based. So like when you have an idea, you don't take advice from anyone, you don't sit on it, you don't second guess it. When it feels like a gut instinct, it's right, you go with it.
Oh.
So I, one January day, was like, I'm going back to school. I just woke up and was like, I'm going back to school. I was like, I'm doing it. And I didn't even really talk to my husband about it. I signed up for classes. I went to him, which feels like a big decision when you're married. And, you know,
he probably knew it was coming, though, honestly. He knows you.
Yeah.
He probably
knows
knew.
me. I don't consult anyone before I make decisions. And so I signed up to go back to school. And it's been 2 years now. I start my master's next year. I have not started it yet. I had to go back for a different degree. So I finished that this fall. But it was like, I always knew in my gut that I needed to be a care worker, which is why I'm a birth doula right now. I work with people who are having babies. I always knew in some capacity that my skill set was to take care of people. But I just didn't want to do the schooling that was required to do that.
Yeah.
But now having kids taught me how fast time moves. That I literally blinked and my son is 4.5.
Yeah.
Like it feels like I had him yesterday. And having something that really like anchors you to understand how short life really is and how fast time moves was really what pushed me to go back. It's like, wow, I have to do this now that the mood has struck.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I did, because I'm almost fully done with this degree before I start the next. And so it worked out really well.
That is incredible.
But yeah, human design is it's very intense. It's a very hard chart to read, but you can Google certain things and pick apart some of what it means.
Interesting. I'm definitely going to do that. That is Friday night content for me, because Drag Race is over and I have nothing to watch.
The black hole of it all. So I can link you to one of the best blogs on it. She offers a lot of like really informative blog posts on it.
Yes,
it's
please.
very hard to understand a chart. People pay thousands of dollars to become skilled at reading these charts because they're so expansive.
Wow.
But they're so specific. Like they're so specific. It's wild.
That is wild. I can't wait to get into it, honestly. Like that sounds really interesting to me. I love that type of stuff, though. I'm in the last year, actually the next week it'll be a year that I've been taking tarot classes. And I've always been into astrology, but only now that I got into tarot did I understand that it's all connected, and that you kind of end up learning about astrology because you're learning about tarot. And so only now am I really starting to understand the signs, and I still have no idea about planets, but I can most of the time at least pick out like a sign and like what element they're related to, some of their personality, sometimes their stereotypes, but that's about all I know so far. But I'm all about digging into it, honestly. I'm all about it.
I think you would love it. And I think most people, when they actually start reading about it, most people are skeptical. Yeah. And I mean, I'm very skeptical of astrology in general. Like I'm someone that I always joke that I enjoy it, but I don't take it seriously.
Yeah.
Until I did human design. And then it spoke to me so directly and so specifically in ways that I didn't think could come down to like a silly personality test of sorts. It's not a personality test.
Yeah.
It comes down to the time you were born and where. But it was very insightful and honestly changed my life. Like learning to trust my instincts about things was huge for me because I have decision paralysis. I second guess everything I ever want to do. So reading about my human design, being like, no, you are literally designed to make decisions as soon as you feel like they are right for you. I was like, oh, yes.
And that's incredible. And thank you, Huggalo. I appreciate you. The newly designated Juggalo is now Huggalo because he hugs everybody, and I love that.
I love that.
So I just started calling him Huggalo. I did live tarot readings on screen for the first time the other day on Monday, and it was I was gonna say that was life changing, honestly, because I had to trust my instincts. It is one of the scariest things to just learn to trust your instincts.
It is. It is.
It is, and tarot has helped me a lot about that. about, you know what I mean, regarding that, because you really do. You just take a look at your cards, depending on what your cards are. I have 6 decks of cards. It's
Oh my gosh.
it's a gateway drug, because I just want all the art. I only read from one. I only read from one pretty much, but you have to learn how to trust your instincts. You can learn about tarot all you want, but if a card plops out of the deck in a specific spot in your spread, you're like, that's no ma'am, that's not what that means today. This is a different feeling. You have to learn to embrace it, and and for yourself, but also for the people you're reading for. Like, when I was doing live tarot readings, there were a couple that got really specific, and I'm like, this is my gut instinct, and I'm sorry if I'm attacking you.
Yeah. I mean, I think it totally comes down to like the reader. It really does. Like, it comes down to being like energetically aligned with like what you're receiving and the person that you're reading for.
Yeah.
But it's like so much of that is on the reader and like what they feel.
Yeah. It's incredibly personal. It's incredibly specific. And I think that's why I'm going to be totally down for the human design thing. I just, it's, the gut instinct thing, that being your takeaway. I love that for you. I do though. And that's why I'm kind of into it.
It's so big. Like, I mean, I know we have to wrap up, but like when I say it changed my life, this is going to make me sound so silly and new age, but I truly love this shit because I have a lot of trauma related to different things. And a lot of times when you have trauma, it stores itself in your like sacral area, it's like your reproductive organs area, if you're not familiar with your sacral center. And so that's where a lot of it just sits. And for a lot of us, that's where a lot of your energy comes from for life. That's where a lot of your just like your zest for life comes from. And so when I did my human design chart, a big thing with your different centers in human design is they can be open or closed.
Okay.
Open means that your centers can be manipulated by people that have closed centers, which means that theirs are, I don't want to say stronger than yours, but they can influence yours. And so I discovered that like I have an open sacral center, which means that mine is not defined. It's very easily just here, there, everywhere. And when I realized that about myself, this is going to sound so silly. I know it sounds silly to say out loud.
Stop that.
But I started doing so much work to like connect with my sacral center, with like my actual, like that part of my body. It ended up starting this like ripple effect of other things. Like I got healthier, my mental health got better. Like I was just working to connect with that part of myself. But it was just so empowering for me. It was just, I can't explain it without like going down another direction of how, but it was just huge. It was huge.
No, it's okay. I don't think I also cannot stand when people are like, this sounds so silly, and it's like, no. This is the perfect platform. I don't want people to have to disclose that what your journey was. You feel silly saying it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
I think it's more that like people have such eye-rolly opinions of like astrology and things like that. And so to tell people that human design changed your life because it actually made me trust myself more was like, I feel like it sounds silly to the common person, but it does not sound silly to me.
And thank
you for calling me on that.
Yeah, I don't think you need to disclaim. That's the word I was looking for. I don't think that's fair to yourself to disclaim. I know this sounds silly. And to be fair, this isn't specifically your audience. And so that part I totally understand. You're disclaiming for maybe people who you don't know, because they might be people who strictly do come to mind. They've never gone to your stream before. So that part of it's fair. But I want you to know that I don't think it's silly, and I'm totally fucking into it.
Thank you. Thank you for affirming me.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
And so as to not push your boundaries any more than I asked of today, I love you so much, and I'm so glad that you came to talk to us. Babe.
Love you, babe. And to I love you both.
I know. And Trish doesn't have a camera on this scene, but she is saying babe repeatedly.
Just babe.
Oh,
with a big old
Trish,
smile on my face. I love you.
And so y'all, that dynamic button has been on the the babe counter.
We're at 43 times and that's still low.
43 times. That dynamic follow button is on the screen. I'll leave it probably for the rest of the stream because we're not going to be on for a whole lot longer. But also something I wanted to share with you because I don't want Highlash to leave because Highlash, we started working on your song last night that I started writing from your tweet. And Highlash tweeted, I don't know how long ago, is months and months and months ago. She tweeted, I made myself a whiskey drink and I don't even want it. That was the tweet.
That's very that's very Highlash.
Yeah. And so I started writing it and I don't think I was the one. Somebody on that tweet responded and said, it sounds like the beginning of a song or it sounds like lyrics or something. And I was like, okay. So I literally started writing it and Lash, we have a demo, and once we let Joy go for the day, I want to play it for you, and I'll put the lyrics up on the screen too because it was inspired by your fucking tweet.
I have to hear that.
Yeah, it's so hello, yes, and it's called Your Highness, which
oh my gosh,
because it's referring to both highness of like substance, like alcohol, but also like Your Highness,
Eyelash,
crown,
yes,
crown it.
Oh, and highness.
And Highlash, yes.
There's a lot of layers.
Yeah, Kev. And so we have a demo version of it. All the words aren't correct because I woke up at like 1 a.m. like, oh my gosh, I have more lyrics. So I changed some of the lyrics today. But I don't know. I just wanted to tell y'all that. And I figured you would appreciate it too.
I love it.
And I can't wait to meet probably both of you at some point. I think it's because we're not that far apart.
We are hunting ghosts together.
That is also supposed to happen in August, by the way. So we're going to hopefully plan that around Beta's birthday in August, which is like the first weekend of August. That's our goal anyway. So
I will get my butt to the Mitten or to Beta's, wherever.
We will probably be in New York somewhere.
Perfect.
More than
I'll
likely.
be there.
And,
that's closer for me.
Yeah, it works because of a lot of travel reasons. But yeah, we're definitely going to try to go to like outskirts of New York, not like New York City, but outskirts. Because I don't want to see people. I'm not ready.
I don't want to see people. I've seen enough people for the year.
I bet you have. Yeah, I have no excuse. I just don't want to see people. I'm not ready. Okay. But how many people are going ghost hunting? There's at least like 6 of us interested in meeting. And it's me, Trish, Fenois, Beta, Joy,
Erin.
Boba Chet, A Grady Music. I think that's how many I stopped counting on accident.
I was counting and I know I'm not at the correct number, so I don't know.
But that's everybody interested in coming to ghost hunt. And I'm like legitimately collecting gear, but Baba Shay.
Same.
Yeah.
I will be there.
I love that.
Doesn't matter.
I love that. So everybody say thank you so much. Say babe, first of all. Say thank you so much.
Babe. I need a collective babe in the chat, please.
Everybody say babe. Just like RuPaul. Everybody say babe. Babe.
Babe.
And I want to say thank you.
I love that so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving us time in a really, really hectic time. Like I know you're busy, so I appreciate every little ounce of time that we squeezed out of you today.
That was thank you for having me. I can't wait to hear the song. I'll be hanging out.
Yes, I'm gonna play it right now, like while I find a raid and stuff and say goodbye. So we'll hang out, but we will talk soon, I'm sure.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. Okay. Bye.
Bye, babe.
Bye, babe.